So I would like to tell you one of the stories from my experience with organizing gigs in Russia, which goes back to 2009, and it's a story about French band Minamata. Let's say so, French old school industrial legend. They arrived from France, and we decided to make a small tour. The tour of Minamata actually started in Petersburg. So I arrived to Petersburg with other guys, European musicians. Minamata arrived directly to Petersburg. So we met there. They made a show in a very good place in the center of the city. Everything was just fine. And the next day we arrived to Moscow. So in Moscow we performed very small venue, which was called Chocolate Factory. It's actually very interesting because what they were doing, it's a live video mixing, and because of it was a time when the computers were not so fast like now. They said to me that they really need 6 kernel processor, and there were no laptops with this possibility. That's why they decided to bring the desktop computer. So it's heavy, the suitcase for this computer, another suitcase for other stuff, so a lot of baggage. So they used some special clothes for the stage to create the interesting image of some atomic power plant workers or something. Because Minamata, the story of Minamata is it was a disease in Japan when it was a big problem with atomic pollution, and the water was polluted with some incredible poisonous, cancerogenous stuff, and then people started to get sickness of Minamata. It was in 60s, I think, when these French guys knew about this story. They were so touched by it, so it inspired them to create a musical project. It was early spring, I think, 2009. So because normally I did gigs for 1 or maximum 2 musicians, this time I was need to be responsible for 5 musicians, so it was a big lineup. And after Petersburg I already was pretty exhausted. I was need to send them to Kazan by train, and this friend of mine, Alexei, who is art performer, so he should meet them there in Kazan and arrange the concert there. We decided to send them by train. The train was departing from the terminal railway station in Moscow, and because I was really exhausted and we were in a hurry, when we arrived to the train station, suddenly I realized that I forgot to take the printed tickets for the train. And the problem is that I forgot all the tickets, not only from Moscow to Kazan, but also the next trains for this tour. So it was a whole bunch of tickets. The situation was like that. The train should depart in 30 minutes. We have no tickets, and I had no idea what to do. I called to my mother, who was fortunately there in my place, and I asked her, please do something. Maybe you can go by taxi and take these tickets and come here. So she did. I decided not to explain to musicians what happened, because it would be useless, just more stress. So she did, and she arrived just a couple of minutes after train left. So I had these tickets, at least the rest of the tickets for the tour, but the problem was that this train was the last train. The next train should go next day, and the next day it should be the day of the concert. And of course I told to the guys about the problem. They got crazy. And I didn't knew what to do, and there was a strange guy around us. He was listening to our discussion, and then he approached me and said, "So what, did you miss the train?" And I said, "Yes, unfortunately we missed the train." And he said, "But you know that the next train will be tomorrow?" I said, "Yes, I know, of course. So what you have to do?" I don't know. I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Okay, if you want, I can help you." I said, in which way?" "I can send you to Kazan by my own train," he said. I said, "What? What does it mean, your own train?" So he explained to us that actually this is a postal train, and it's not coming to the city of Kazan, it's going further, so it's just bypassing Kazan in few kilometers before the city. It changed the direction and going somewhere else. So anyway, it was a kind of solution. So I asked how much will be the price. He said that it will be the double price. So first thing I did, I returned the tickets and got 50% of the tickets price. Then I borrowed some money from my mother, and it was still not enough. So I promised to the guys that I will pay the rest to him tomorrow. So he took my number, checked if it's really my number, and then he said, "Okay, let's go." And we were going for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. So the platform ended, then we were going down to the ground and going along the rails somewhere in the dark with all this heavy stuff, and also the problem with Philip was that he had some ache in the knees, so it was like we were transporting him with his stuff. Totally crazy situation. And of course French guys asked me, "Where are we going?" And I said, "We are going to get on the train." "Do you have the tickets?" And I said, no tickets, we don't need tickets." "No tickets? How it's possible? Where we are going?" And also the French guys, they were not able to understand what's going on. So I said, "Okay, so just be silent and follow me." So finally we found this train. It was somewhere quite far from the platform in the total darkness. So this guy was knocking the door. We were waiting for some minutes in the total silence. And finally another guy opened the door and asked, "Holy fuck, what do you want?" He said, I want to send these three foreigners to Kazan." I said, "Oh shit. How much?" He said, something like, okay. So, and the problem was that there was no platform, so the door was on the 1 meter high from the ground. So we start to put stuff there to stuff French guys inside. They were totally shocked. Then inside this wagon, actually the train was just a locomotive and a couple of wagons, very small train. And then inside the wagon it was like in a Lynch movie. So we opened the door, and it was full of light inside, so white walls, white lights, and just one couplet in the whole wagon. And it was a table served with some food and plasma TV on the wall. Looks like the wagon for some pop stars. So the French guy said, it's a good management. And I say, come on, good management. I have no idea what will happen next night, because you are going in the middle of nowhere, and these guys in the train, they can just kick you off somewhere in the fields and take your stuff and your money, and that's it. Who knows? But still, it was a solution, so I was returning to my place. I called to Alexei and explained him the situation. He didn't understand anything. He just understood that the musicians will arrive somewhere near Kazan, and he should find them at some small station in the middle of nowhere. The problem was also that he met another musician there in the airport of Kazan, which was Roger Rotor. And then, so he met him, got on the taxi, and driving to this place to find the French guys. All the night I was not able to sleep through all the night because I was very stressed. In the morning I start to call to this guy in the train just to know what's happening, and his telephone was switched off. So I got even more crazy. I started to call to the French guy's telephone. They were also switched off. But then I realized that probably there was no connection. Finally, I was able to reach one of French guys, Philippe. So he replied me, and I said, Philippe, are you okay? Are you alive? And he said, oh, Dmitry, thank you so much. Russian people, they are so nice. So it was a pure emotional flow, you know. So then afterwards he explained me that they were getting off the train somewhere on the platform. It was totally empty, nobody there, and they had no idea because no city near, so where to go. So they were walking a little bit along the platform and found the little house of rail workers. And the rail workers, which are of course not able to speak any language except Russian, they still understood that there are some foreigners with problems, so they let them in and gave them some tea or something. So, and then they called to Alexei and explained where they are, because there are few stations around the Kazan of the same name, and you never know where you have to go. So Alexei spent a couple of hours driving around the Kazan, checking all the stations. Finally they met, and then they performed at the Halloween party in Kazan in a big hall full of youngsters, because it was a night party, so the young people coming to. So then Minamata performed their crazy noise stuff. So, but it was not good. So this whole adventure impressed the French guys very much. So shortly after they returned to France, they recorded the album entitled Politkovskaya, and all the tracks were connected with some Russian names, politics in Russia and stuff like that. And then we didn't see each other for many years. And just a couple of years ago, when I came in France again, and I met one of Minamata guys, Jean-Yves, in Paris. We had a very good dinner together with his family. At the end, he asked me, so what are your plans now? And I said, okay, so tomorrow I have to leave Paris and go to another French city. So, and he said, okay, I see. Have a nice trip, Dmitry, and please don't be late, because in France there are no postal trains.